ready for me to go? My name is Fulton Leroy Washington, also known as Mr. Wash the Artist. I've been practicing art for 27 years. I started in federal prison, and I'm a fine art artist. Why artist? It was not intentional. Art, me becoming a fine art artist, is a story behind everything. And so in this case, I was wrongfully convicted, and I got a new attorney, and they was trying to find the people who had committed the acts that they sentenced me to life in federal prison for. And I attempted a sketch, very crude, but they found the people from that sketch. And I made a promise to God that I would continue to practice that craft as well as share it with other people. And so that's how I became an artist. The people that have the biggest influence on my work are the people whose stories I hear. I become a storyteller with a brush, and I hear stories and visions come to my mind, and I paint them into like a realistic type artwork. So I'm mostly influenced by the society in which I live and the stories that I hear.
Is there any story in particular you have in mind you wouldn't mind sharing?
Well, one of the most recent stories is we had a very horrific auto accident on Slauson and La Brea. The lady ran through a red light at over 100 miles an hour. In that process, 6 people died in the explosion. They was pretty much cremated in their cars. When I saw the video footage of it and then heard the story, I was compelled to bring that vision of their departure from physical to spiritual side and to an art piece titled Highway to Heaven. And so it's a bench. We painted a concrete bench in memory of those 6 people that died, which was a whole family of 4. The father, the wife, the child 18 months old, and 8-month-old fetus all died in a single instant. I mean, it's less than like, the whole thing was less than 2 seconds. And so it impacted me emotionally, spiritually. So I created my latest piece titled, like I say, The Highway to Heaven. It's a memorial bench that'll be dedicated on August the 4th. Right where the accident happened. We have a solo show at the Jeffrey Dice Gallery. I think it's 700 Santa Monica Boulevard in Los Angeles. That's coming up in February of 2024. I'm currently working on pieces such as the one behind me to go into that show. Top 3 paintings. First one coming to mind is Thinking Out Loud. The story behind Thinking Out Loud was my mother died on her way to come visit me. I sit and waited for the visit. She never showed up. I'm clothes all ironed up. I'm ready to go. And next word I hear is that she's dead. So then I was elected to go to the funeral, and the government said that I have to bear the cost. So my family and the public put the $18,000 up to go, and then they refused and said that I could only go if an officer, without my solicitation, offered to take me to the funeral. Well, 3 officers came to me and said they were putting in requests to take me to the funeral, and then they said no. So that led me with, I guess, a little frustration. I'm not like a person that can really get frustrated or very emotional about anything. But I knew that from that system, that if you show any signs of anger, that would be a reason for them to never let you out of prison, that you become a danger to society. So I held my composure, and I painted it out into a painting titled Thinking Out Loud, where I took the funeral pictures that they sent me of my mom and my uncles carrying her body, and I painted it inside of my head. I did a self-portrait with what was inside of my head, titled Thinking Out Loud. That's one. Two is a painting titled Blood Trail, where in my mind I imagine what life would be like if I was to escape from prison. And so I painted, that's probably one of the most detailed pictures and time-consuming pieces that I've done. And it's just a story of me fighting for my life, finding a cave in the mountains, and then there's a trail of blood in the snow from me injuring myself, escaping, and the hound dogs are following that blood trail, and behind them is the ATF, the FBI, the Bureau of Prisons with Rottweilers, the Doberman Pinschers, and German Shepherds coming for me, and I'm fighting. It's just a really powerful picture. So that's two. Three is a toss-up between the first picture I ever painted and the last picture. So let's combine those two together. The very first picture I ever painted in oil is called Why Us? And it's a picture of dead slaves in the basement of a ship being transported to be sold, some alive and some dead. The last picture I ever painted is called Emancipation Proclamation, because in the last picture is the one that actually freed me. I have President Obama and myself having a discussion because I can't accept responsibility for something that I didn't do in order to get a presidential clemency. So we went 3 years back and forth with that. So those two are the two combined as one. It's the first and the last is a single that comes together in full circle. Nothing has changed in all these years. But right now we're in the city of Compton, California, 90222. We're at the Art by Wash Studio, and soon to be the Art by Wash Studio and Community Center. It's a combination of 9 lots on this block, and Art by Wash has possession of 6 of them. And we're going to develop that property into a community center to help other people, other inmates in the community to learn how to communicate with art.
This is like kind of your way of giving back.
It's my way of giving back, and I realized that during that time that I was in prison, that so many people need so much help, and so many people was in prison for things they should be in prison for. But I also realized on my return to society from prison that is a real hardship on people. And I know that I'm very, very blessed. I'm grateful for all the opportunities and doors that open for me. But I can only imagine that these doors won't open for everybody. And so for some of the people that I spent 18 years of my life training into their art, teaching them how to art, how to communicate with art, how to tell stories, and teaching them compassion for their fellow man, that giving is a lot better than receiving, that I'm trying to create a platform in which that when they do come home from prison, that they can have at least up to 6 months free rent, in order that they don't have to have a break in their passion, their break in their creativity. That the things that I do on this experience of human life is not, you have 2 different sides that run parallel, they're part of the same. One is the physical side and one is the spiritual side. The things that I do is for the spiritual life. It's not for this physical life that's deteriorating and not forever. So my work is the same work that God has, is to help the people. I'm just here to help people as I pass through, to never become a hindrance to people, never, always to come in as a blessing. If money was no object, I would love to take on a project that I could include in one painting everything that's going on in the world, which means I would have to travel the world and grab images and experiences from all of that and put this into a single painting called, maybe hypothetical title, How I See the World. If I had to give a word of advice to young artists, the first thing that I would tell them is that time is your most valuable asset. And that out of all the things that you can accumulate in this world, they can all be replaced, but the only one that can't be replaced is time. So be very selective on how you spend your time, who you spend it with, and what you spend it on. If I could make one wish, what would it be? I would wish for unity and peace on the planet. We're all one people. We all one race. We the human race. And if we can get to that point, you would just be so surprised where and what we could do without the political divides. You know, we don't have to be rich or poor. We don't have to be Democrat or Republican. We don't have to be Christian or Muslim. These polarizing things is holding us as a society down. And it's all because of capital gain and the power in the field of power and control. Nobody is no better than nobody else. And we're all only here for a very, very temporary amount of time. It's only an experience. We can get more out of the experience if we do everything together as one, the whole planet. Shout out to the Jeffrey Dice Gallery, UCLA, the Hammer Museum, Lackman Museum, the Heavyweight Gallery, and the Palm Springs Art Museum, as well as the Ashanti Foundation in Berlin. Without the help of those institutions, this dream come true would not be here today. Thank you.